It appears that a brand new Wonder Woman film is in the works. In a recent interview, James Gunn did emphatically state that the DCU will get its own version of Princess Diana of the Mascara. But what are the details? 'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the Hi everyone, my name is Jacob Berry. Welcome to the StudioJake vidcast where I talk about all things pop culture. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and if you're watching on YouTube, ring that little bell so you get notifications when I post a new vidcast, and consider becoming a channel member. If you want to support me in the work that I do, head on over to my new website, studiojakemedia.substack.com, where you can read most of my articles for free, or you can subscribe at different tiers that unlock different perks. With the collapse of the Snyder run DC Extended Universe and the subsequent hiring of James Gunn to take over the DCU, the DC Universe, or at least that's what they're calling the film franchise that he and Peter Safran are building, there was a lot of speculation on how different actors would return to roles. We know for sure that a few are returning. For instance, John Cena will portray Peacemaker, and that the Peacemaker TV series has always been in this rebooted universe. It was not in the old DCEU, unlike the film The Suicide Squad, so that's led to a little bit of confusion. One thing we do know for sure is that Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, and Ben Affleck will not be returning to portray Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman, respectively. We already know that David Cornsweet is taking over the role as the Man of Steel. But who is going to play Wonder Woman and who is going to play Batman? This has led to a lot of speculation. And are those characters even going to be in the DCU? Well, we do know that a Batman film is in development. That's been old news for a long time now. They've lost their director, who was the director of the DCEU's film The Flash. There's a lot riding on this, that this being that Superman film. However, what role does Wonder Woman play in all this? Well, James Gunn has confirmed that Wonder Woman will return in theatrical form. This is according to the website superherohype.com. A Wonder Woman DCU movie is officially in the works, with James Gunn revealing some of the first details about the new iteration of the character in the young DC universe. Speaking to Entertainment Weekly, Gunn confirmed that a Wonder Woman movie was currently in development, and it's going to be a separate thing from the planned Paradise Lost HBO series, which Gunn says is still in the works. Gunn wouldn't offer up any information about Wonder Woman, but did say that the movie was being written. We're working on Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's being written right now, said Gunn. Prior to the new Wonder Woman movie, the previous DC Extended Universe had its own star in the suit of the iconic superhero. Gal Gadot played the character of Wonder Woman in Zack Snyder's universe of films, with director Patty Jenkins making 2 movies starring Gadot. A third film was rumored to still be in the works when James Gunn and Peter Safran became co-CEOs of DC Studios, but the movie never panned out. It's currently unclear whether or not the Wonder Woman DCU movie will feature any of the DC Universe's already established heroes. The Superman movie, starring David Cornsweet, is set to arrive on July 11th, 2025, with the next film after that being Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, which stars Millie Alcock and releases in June 2026. A Batman movie was announced by Gunn at the beginning of his time with DC Studios, although there have been no firm updates on that as of yet. And I highly encourage you to head on over to superherohype.com. They've got a lot of rumors and confirmed stories about superhero films in general. Now, I would love to see a new Wonder Woman film. I am not on the bandwagon that says Gal Gadot is a bad actress. I don't agree with that. I think she has a really bad agent. She should fire her agent, the one that got her involved in Snow White. I'm not on that bandwagon. I do, however, think she has a terrible agent that she needs to fire, and she needs to get better representation so she can get better roles. That is my opinion of it. So I am sad to see her go. Who would I like to see take her place? Well, Gina Carano for one, but I doubt that's in the cards. However, I do think that I could see James Gunn trying to shuffle it around. There are 2 problems with this scenario. One, James Gunn is a massive liar. He lies a lot about what movies DC Studios is doing. Obviously, he's a better director than, say, Zack Snyder or that weird Italian guy they got to direct The Flash. He's definitely a better director than the two of them. James Gunn is kind of known for being dishonest with fans, whether by implication or just dropping teaser nuggets in interviews or just outright saying lies. This is what he does. He's a pervert, so it stands to reason that he's a liar, no question there. However, another rub is everything is riding on Superman and Superwoman. We know this to be the case. Discovery, which bought Warner Brothers, or at least merged them into them, Warner Brothers Discovery, they took them from AT&T because that was going to be a disaster. However, Discovery put one of their own people in charge of Warner Brothers Studios, David Zaslav, and he just doesn't have any experience doing a film studio. He was in charge of things like kids programming and the Home Shopping Network, or similar channels, I should say. He didn't have experience running a film studio. When it came time to make the DCU, they made a lot of really bad decisions, and James Gunn was a part of those. That for sure is true. He made some really crummy decisions, such as not pushing up Aquaman and pushing back the Flash, which would have made more sense because then you could say, hey, the Flash is what reset everything. That's why some actors are returning, some aren't. But they didn't do that. I don't know why they didn't do that. It was a very stupid thing that they didn't do that. DC as a film franchise is in a big state of apocalypse right now. It's going to come down whether Superman is fantastic at the box office, whether it breaks molds. Same with Superwoman. Now, I do think even if Superman collapses at the box office, they're still going to release Superwoman either as an HBO Max special or direct to theaters with a limited run, something like that. But I think that if Superman fails, the Gunn universe is over. So if you are a fan of James Gunn, you think he is what's going to save DC films, you need to go see this movie. You need to go support Superman. You need to put butts in seats for that. That's the only way this survives, and that's the only way we're going to get this alleged Wonder Woman film. Now, however that works out, I'd be curious to see who they're going to cast as Wonder Woman. He said the movie is being written, but he didn't say who by. Hopefully not Tom King. And see, that's another concern I have with the Superwoman movie is Tom King is writing it. Tom King is a notoriously terrible writer. He does not know how to dot I's and cross T's. He did have kind of a good start with things like the War of Jokes and Riddles during the Rebirth Batman era, but then after issue 50, it completely collapsed with the whole City of Bane nonsense. In fact, writers who wrote tie-ins to that series did better. Their comics were better than Tom King's ridiculous storylines, especially when he did that dumb Batman Catwoman 12-part miniseries and then a Christmas special, I think, went along with it. It was absolutely a ridiculous series. I reviewed the graphic novel, which collects all of the comics from the Batman Catwoman series. So if you're interested in my thoughts on it, you can head on over to my Substack. I've got it there. And let me just tell you, it was just awful. So with James Gunn working with people like that, I can definitely see how this is going to fall apart. Hopefully, they're just getting his ideas for it, which even that isn't a good idea. Tom King is about as popular as getting a mosquito bite when you're out for a morning jog. His stuff does not sell well. It hasn't sold well since the wedding issue of Batman. It's always curious to me why people like this continue to fail up. He's bringing in poor sales for DC Comics. His Human Target series was a disaster. His Super Girl series, which the movie is supposedly based on, was a disaster. His Mr. Miracle series, it sold okay, but still not breaking in numbers like it should have. So I don't know. Why these comic book people continue to fail up is beyond me. Either way, I'm curious to see how this Wonder Woman film develops. If they were smart, they would hire a very talented screenwriter and let them put it together, and they can fill in the gaps to make sure it's within the new continuity and whatnot. Otherwise, they maybe should just pump the brakes and hope that Superman does well, because otherwise, all you Wonder Woman fans, y'all are in for a major disappointment. If you liked that video, be sure to give it a like, share it out to all your friends, leave me a comment on what you think, and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, ring that little bell so you get notifications when I post a new vidcast, and consider becoming a channel member. If you want to support me in the work that I do, head on over to studiojakemedia.substack.com, where you can subscribe. Now, you can read most of my articles for free, or like I said, you can subscribe and unlock a ton of new perks. In the conveniently titled Buy My Books section, you can, well, buy my books. I've got links to all over the place, including Amazon. You can get one or all four. Leave me a 5-star review. It really helps out small indie creators like myself. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time right here on Studio Jake. 'Cause I've been living life